Mother's love is one of the strongest feelings, capable of becoming the foundation of strong and harmonious relationships between mother and child, regardless of age. But, like any strong emotion, love can turn into a trap. From care and support, it sometimes grows into control and restriction of freedom. This applies not only to children and teenagers. Adults, even in mature age, can remain under the influence of maternal care and manipulation. Many do not realize their emotional dependence on their mother and continue to live according to her instructions, losing the ability to be independent and free. Tibetan teachings emphasize the importance of seeking inner freedom and independence from external influences in order to maintain a connection with one's own nature. Today, we will talk about how to recognize the trap of maternal love and what to do, using ancient Tibetan practices for liberation. This issue concerns not only those who are just beginning adult life, but also those who have long lived independently but still feel the influence of maternal expectations. The first point is the trap of care. Mother's love is a powerful, all-consuming feeling, and it would seem what could be dangerous in care and support. But like any strong emotion, care can become an obstacle if it begins to take the form of control and restrictions. In Tibetan traditions, special attention is paid to balance in upbringing, where the mother seeks to protect the child without depriving them of a sense of independence and the opportunity to explore the world on their own. When a mother constantly solves her child's problems and anticipates their desires, it deprives the child of the important experience of independently overcoming life's difficulties. Imagine a child who, from an early age, is surrounded by excessive care, where every mistake is seen as a disaster and every step is controlled. Tibetan teachings emphasize the importance of mistakes and obstacles on the path to enlightenment, as they help a person grasp the truth and learn from experience. In such an environment, the child does not learn to take responsibility for their actions, because there is always someone who will make decisions or pull them out of difficult situations. It is like an invisible cage of comfort and safety that restrains personal growth and development, depriving the inner strength and independence. Tibetan sages often stress that the more a person is given externally, the weaker they become internally, especially in the context of maternal love. If all problems are solved for the child, they gradually lose the ability to cope with life's challenges and make decisions independently. A mother wishing to protect her child from difficulties and mistakes may unknowingly limit their freedom, creating dependence and hindering the development of independence. Such an expression of love may be unnoticed by the child, who does not realize they are trapped in excessive care and restrictions. It becomes the norm when any difficulties instantly disappear, thanks to the mother's help. The child never needs to think about the consequences of their actions, and this forms dependence. Due to such dependence, it becomes difficult for a person to independently cope with challenges, make adult decisions, or take responsibility for their actions in the future. Care that turns into excessive guardianship becomes a trap that is hard to escape, especially if it persists throughout life. Before we continue, I invite you to write in the comments whether you have had similar situations and how you dealt with them. While you like this video, we continue with the second point: deprivation of independence, another aspect of the trap of maternal love. Deprivation of independence can manifest in different forms and sometimes happens unnoticed when a mother wants to protect her child from mistakes. The mother begins to make all important decisions for the child, whom to choose as friends, which profession to pursue, and even interferes in personal relationships. Tibetan wisdom speaks about the importance of a personal path and free choice. Everyone must overcome their karmic tasks and develop their soul on their own. When a mother constantly interferes in a child's life, the child develops dependence on her opinion and approval. The absence of independent choice creates an inner fear of mistakes. If a decision is not confirmed by the mother, it seems wrong. Wrong steps in childhood can lead to an adult who cannot make decisions without outside help, constantly looking back at the mother's opinion. Such suppression of personal initiative hinders the normal development of the individual, causing doubts about their abilities and talents, as well as fear of independence. Constant prompts and corrections from the mother can lead to the belief that without her support, a person will achieve nothing. This is a real trap that prevents breaking out of the imposed life script limiting freedom of choice and self-development. Tibetan sages emphasize the importance of being able to independently respond to difficulties, mistakes, and challenges, rather than waiting for a solution from others. Motherly love that deprives a child of the opportunity to make mistakes and learn from them takes away the most valuable life experience and lessons. Solving problems independently is what the mother essentially deprives the child of, not giving them skills for adult life. Adult relationships, whether partnerships, friendships, or professional, require the ability to make decisions and take responsibility for one's actions. If a person is used to relying on their mother for everything, it will be difficult for them to build healthy and mature connections with others. The third point is emotional blackmail, a form of motherly love that can be destructive and limiting. It all starts with phrases that at first seem harmless, but are actually subtle and destructive. These words are filled with expectations and hidden pain. I did so much for you. I sacrificed everything for your happiness. If it weren't for me, you wouldn't have achieved anything. These words carry a deep problem. Behind these words lies a feeling of guilt imposed on the child. The mother, intentionally or not, uses her care as a tool of control. The child, hearing such words, begins to feel indebted, as if falling into a debt pit from which escape seems impossible. How to repay the mother for the boundless love, care, and time she invested? The child starts to adjust their decisions to the mother's expectations. They stop living for themselves and begin living for what they believe the mother expects from them, creating an invisible bond of dependence. Emotional blackmail is perceived as a form of manipulation. In Tibetan tradition, they teach awareness of others, motives, and developing inner control. The teachings of Tibet help avoid traps of dependence and manipulation, teaching independence and management of one's emotions. But what to do when the manipulator is the closest person, the mother? At this moment, the line between love and manipulation is lost. This type of bond, based on guilt, can become a serious barrier to the personal development of an adult. A person continues to live with the feeling that they cannot truly belong to themselves and freely choose their path. The invisible thread always brings them back to the mother and her expectations. Tibetan teachings help recognize such forms of dependency and prevent anyone from controlling our emotions and actions, freeing us from an invisible emotional cage. This way, we can start building our lives based on our own desires and goals, not others' expectations. This is the foundation of personal freedom and inner growth. The fourth point is how to escape the trap of maternal love. This issue is more complex than it seems and requires inner effort and awareness to change established behavior patterns. The first step to liberation is acknowledging the problem. Until you see that maternal love has become an obstacle for you, you cannot start moving forward. Awareness is not easy to achieve, as a mother's love seems natural and familiar. But once you notice excessive care and control, that becomes the first step toward change. Tibetan teachings urge seeking inner strength and resilience. Gaining independence and autonomy begins with strengthening your inner core. This does not happen immediately. The process requires patience and constant self-work to change ingrained habits and gain freedom. It is important to take responsibility for your actions, even if it seems scary and difficult. Over time, you will begin to understand that you can handle challenges on your own. The ability to set boundaries in relationships with your mother, friends, or partner plays a huge role. You need to clearly define where others' expectations end. It is important to understand that your personal boundaries are your territory. Sometimes you need to break off relationships or avoid communication to preserve yourself. You must be aware of which moments in your life require independent decisions. Setting boundaries is a manifestation of respect for yourself and others. It is necessary to learn to take responsibility for your life. It is important to understand that no matter how strong your mother's influence is, only you are responsible for your path. Your life belongs only to you. You know best what is good for you. This awareness can become a strong incentive to start living by your own rules. Building a new model of relationships, you realize that maternal love is not control or coercion. True love is the freedom of choice. True love is about giving a person the opportunity to follow their own path, make mistakes, and learn from them. This path takes time, but in the end, you will gain a sense of inner freedom and strength that will allow you to make decisions based on your own desires and beliefs. This is an incredibly strong and important feeling. However, even it can become an obstacle to personal freedom if it turns into control and manipulation. It is important to understand that love should not impose restrictions, suppress personality, or deprive a person of the right to make independent decisions. Growing up is not only a physical process, but also an awareness that your happiness, decisions, and life belong only to you. Tibetan teachings remind us of the importance of responsibility for our emotions, actions, and life path. Only through awareness, inner resilience, and setting boundaries can we break free from the invisible chains that bind us to others. Sacrifice is support and trust in your own ability to handle life's challenges. Remember that a mother's love is a gift, but it should not deprive you of the opportunity to be free and self-sufficient. Gain inner strength and resilience, because only then can you truly be yourself. Thank you for watching this video. Leave your comments, share your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel. Don't miss new episodes to stay updated on all important updates and fresh news we have prepared, especially for you.